You are listening to the audio portion of the QB Power Hour webinar series. The QB Power Hour is a free bi-weekly webinar series for accounting professionals presented by Michelle Long and Dan DeLong, who are very passionate about the industry, QuickBooks, and apps that integrate with QuickBooks. You can find out all the details about the webinar series at qbpowerhour.com. So without further ado, here's Michelle and Dan. All right, well, welcome to the QB Power Hour. My name is Dan DeLong, and we'll be talking about the new QBO Payroll lineup today. Michelle is doing her training in the QB Roadshow, so she's not going to be able to join us today. So it's just me today, and I'm joined here by a few folks from Intuit to help us out and answer some of these questions that a lot of people are seeing. I'm seeing a lot of conversation on the Facebook groups and out there on social media. So I thought it would be a good idea to have, hear it right from the horse's mouth and find out just what this new payroll lineup is all about. When we did the QB Connect recap, there was a lot of discussion, a lot of questions about the new QBO payroll lineup and what that's going to look like. So they're coming in here to give us some inside information about how that's all going to look. So we're going to get started here. So of course everybody knows Michelle. She is Intuit royalty, I think, or Intuit accountant royalty in that space. She's the owner of Long for Success, international speaker, and she's out doing it today. She's the author of 5 books and of course the co-host of QB Power Hour, and she manages a Facebook group as well as our LinkedIn group. I myself am Dan DeLong, a former Intuit technical support representative, but now the owner of Danwith, where we transform businesses through technology. Recently technically edited the QBO for Dummies book, available on Amazon. So little announcements about the QB Power Hour webinar. Now it's going to be every other Tuesday at 12 Eastern time. Today's going to be the new payroll lineup. Next 2 weeks it's going to be over the holidays, so we're not going to have a webinar in that week of the 23rd. And then in January, we're actually going to talk about using attachments in QBO and desktop. Our special guest will be Receipt Bank, so we'll talk a little bit about their solution offering as well. We do a lot of QuickBooks tips, what's new, troubleshooting, and as well as marketing and pricing and apps in your business in this webinar. We don't offer CPE credit anymore, but you do have the ability to download the slides for the entire year, and you can review the recordings on Michelle's YouTube channel as well as a podcast. So if you need to listen to us on the go, there's a link there for the podcast as well. Some upcoming events. Obviously, again, we're not having a webinar next time, and you can always go to the VCon and Roadshow link, the qbtrainingevents.com. Maybe you can request Michelle out and about there, but you just go into to the link there and look for in-person training or the virtual conferences as well. So let's get into the meat of what we're here talking about today, the new QuickBooks Online Payroll lineup. So we're going to have Michelle Cho. She's a product marketing leader at Intuit. So Michelle or Stephanie, if you want to just introduce yourself and just kind of give our audience a little bit about what it is that you do over there. Are you based out of Mountain View or some other office?
Yes. Hi, my name is Stephanie, and I'm based out of Mountain View. I have worked specifically on payroll for about 2 years, and I'm the product marketing lead, me and my team, for online payroll and T-Sheets together. But before joining Intuit, I did own a small business. I was a small business owner using payroll and also QuickBooks for about 7 years.
So you actually did firsthand. You know it firsthand, using payroll and QuickBooks. That's awesome.
Yes.
So let me before you get into the meat of things today, I wanted to launch a poll here. So just our initial poll here of just asking us here, what percentage, oh, got to launch it first. What percentage of your clients actually use payroll? So like, I don't have clients with payroll, less than 25%, 25 to 75% or greater than, or maybe that's your sole practice is, that's all I do is payroll. So definitely a good idea to find out what's upcoming new in the payroll. Alrighty, looks like 25 to 75% is what's leading the pack here. We'll give a couple more seconds for people to answer. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close the poll. Most of the folks have voted or cast their vote, and I'll share the results here. Yeah, 46%, 25 to 75% use payroll. Small percentage don't use payroll. So that's a good idea of how, what kind of folks we're talking to. So I'll go ahead and advance the slide here and get so we're going to talk about the overview of the QuickBooks Online payroll lineup. So there was an email, right, that just came out within the last couple days, Stephanie?
Yeah, that's right. I want to say it was on the 5th, but don't quote me on that if you received it on a different day.
Right.
But yes, it was very recent. Yep.
Okay, so timely information here. So let's go ahead and take it away.
Great. Okay, so we are very excited about the launch of the new lineup. It has certainly been a lot of effort in the making, but most importantly, a lot of intense research and listening to customers, but also accountants. We talked to about 5,000 people between interviews and councils and surveys, and over 1,000 of them were specifically accountants. So we did really want to understand what the accounting community thought of our existing lineup and what they wanted to see in the new lineup, and we took that to heart quite a bit. And so what we found was there were 3 primary groups or categories, if you will, to think about the innovation that we are bringing or have brought to market. And so the first is automation. And so both, our accounting partners and our small business clients really wanted payroll to be taken off their plates, right? They kind of wanted it to be something much easier that they could trust would work and they would not have to think about it. And so 2 big things in this bucket include, which you'll see in a minute, all the exact innovations, but a couple of things to highlight in the automation bucket is the introduction of auto payroll. And so what that would mean is the client would set, or if you happen to run it for your clients, but you would set up payroll once, and then the payroll would run automatically with alerts and notifications to the end user. So think of it almost as like if you auto pay your credit card, except you're getting a whole bunch of alerts and sort of notifications to be like, hey, is this okay? Do you approve payroll, etc. And that's really to make sure that the payroll user stays in control, but to take it off their plate if they are really busy and they're like, yep, I have salaried employees, it's the same every single week or every single, month, that kind of a thing. And the second thing we did was really embed T-sheets into the product. So not just sort of an integration through APIs, but a full embedding. So you will have all of that data seamlessly flow between T-sheets and payroll, which is huge, which we're super, super excited about. That was certainly no easy feat and one that was very high priority for us, especially after hearing from this community.
So would you just to kind of touch base on that, and maybe you'll talk a little bit more about the integration between T-sheets, but would you still have a separate platform to go to for T-sheets, or is it going to be directly within the payroll offering itself inside of QBO?
Sorry, so I think you cut out slightly, but I think I got what you said there, Dan. And you can think of it as a phased approach. So right now, when you log into your payroll account, when you set up T-sheets, you will be redirected to T-Sheets, aka it will sort of the outer shell will shift slightly, if that makes any sense, and you'll set everything up. But you don't have to. You're not opening like a whole nother browser or a whole nother window. Does that make sense? It's more
Mm-hmm.
just so those two systems are completely connected, and then the data
Okay.
will seamlessly flow. So when you
Gotcha.
add an employee, there is literally a check mark to say invite this person to start tracking time on just to start tracking time. And then they will automatically get an email from T-Sheets. And so it's just those smaller pieces that will be completely rectified in the future because we
Gotcha.
launched right away, right, with this deep embedding. And then in the future, it would be 100% sort of QuickBooks branded and QuickBooks look and feel, that kind of a thing.
Gotcha.
Does that make
Okay.
sense? But you're not going to a separate, you're not opening another account. You're not relogging in anything. It's directly from your payroll.
Gotcha. So it's not necessarily like QuickBooks Online bill pay where you initiate things directly within QBO. It's still separate but equal, right?
So want to answer your question correctly, Dan, and I'm happy to even take this back as well. But I think it depends on what piece you're talking about. So like I said, in the actual flow of adding a worker, there's a box that you check to invite them to start tracking hours, and then that all happens automatically for you.
Gotcha.
It's not like you have to go back into T-Sheets to then do that, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yep.
The only thing I'm talking about is sort of the look and feel. So you'll click a button when, it's like start tracking time from right within payroll. So you click that button, and then what comes up is then your T-Sheets account. And that has not been fully reskinned and rebranded and all that sort of a thing to be exactly the QuickBooks
Gotcha.
look and feel. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. It does. And I'm sorry to derail your presentation, but you said something about integration with T-Sheets, and it was like I really want to understand that, and I wanted to get a better understanding from what it's going to look like when it's embedded, because that's a really big a big selling feature, for it is when you look at the pricing, what you're going to talk about, having those two separate offerings now integrated into one really does make it affordable. Make that price differentiation what it is before when you had a la carte those two things together. Now you're combining them and combining the cost as well.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So and so again, I want to make sure that I'm answering your question, so I'm happy to take that offline and we can even get into like a much nitty gritty about like exactly how they integrate, because I want to make sure that I'm being accurate, but I also don't want to sort of bore the audience with like a whole sort of derailment, like company creates, etc.
We can certainly take it offline and add to the discussion. Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully I've answered your question. If not, like I said, I'm happy to follow up afterwards, specifically with the product managers that like have worked with our engineers who built that, and then they should be able to like literally walk you through that piece of it.
Awesome.
Okay, so the second bucket of innovation that we've brought to market is accuracy. And the way to think about that, and what's super exciting about that, is that every single product in the 3 product lineup has automated tax and form filings. So there's not this kind of notion of a full service and a DIY. We want to bring that to everyone, and that will help us ensure that taxes and forms are 100% correct. So that is a huge thing. The second thing, and there's multiple things in here, but the second really big piece that we're excited about is our tax penalty protection guarantee. And so what that means is if there is a mistake that happens with your payroll, whether or not that was originated by the client or somebody else running payroll for you, your payroll manager, however it is, Intuit will take that penalty, work with the IRS directly on your behalf, and pay that penalty up to $25,000. So that is super exciting for us. We are, I believe, the first people in the market to do that. So we're really, really excited about that. And then the last bucket has to do with additional services. So we really want to really spread the message far and wide that we have moved beyond just a core payroll offering. And what that means could involve, excuse me, HR. There's an entire HR module in the 2 upper tier payroll products. There's 401k. We offer benefits integration in all of the products. And there's a whole just suite of things, workers' comp, things that really offer end-to-end solutions for beyond just payroll for anyone that has employees or workers.
Gotcha.
So if you move to the next slide.
Okay.
This is a list of just a few of the things that we are super excited, and some of these I touched on previously, right? So we have automated tax and form filings for all of our products that we've launched. We have the tax penalty free guarantee, and that actually we've just bringing up to the tax penalty protection. We have the beyond payroll offerings like HR, benefits, workers' comp. And then we have the automated payroll that I was mentioning before, right, where you stay in control, but you can set it up to run automatically if you would like, for all of our products. And then we have the time tracking in our 2 upper tier SKUs. And the really cool thing there to note is that the time tracking functionality in Premium and Elite is different. So Elite has project tracking, it has geofencing, it is a more robust time tracking product than the product that is in the Premium product, and that is awesome in and of itself. So you get even more with our top tier product.
Gotcha.
So if you move to the next, and I just want to say I am seeing a lot of questions about the exact T-sheets integration, and these are great questions, guys, but what I would like is to answer them specifically with an engineer, the product manager that is directly on that, so we get a panel of experts for you guys. So I just want to say we hear you, we want to answer all of those questions, and I'm here to give you a high-level overview because I drove all of the research leading up to the entire lineup, but I certainly don't want to misspeak about a very specific functionality or integration if anyone is interested in that. So let's just, I just want to say that we're definitely on that. Happy to answer.
Keep those questions coming. We'll provide those to Stephanie and the team, and then we'll follow those up in the Facebook or LinkedIn group.
Totally, yes. And I'm loving the engagement. Thank you very, very much. So the new lineup, what is it? So there are 3 products. There are Core Payroll, our Premium Payroll, and our Elite Payroll. Core Payroll is priced at $45 base fee per month plus $4 an employee. You can see the wholesale and the client bill prices there. Again, to highlight, this includes the automated tax and form filing. It also includes the auto payroll and the health benefit integration. The Premium product, and you can think of this as a new and improved version of our full service payroll, just like you can think of Core as a new and improved version of our self-service payroll, except it's no longer really self-service. So the Premium version is $75 a month at $8 per month for employees. And again, I've listed the wholesale and client bill prices there, so people have that information if they'd like it. This includes Premium time tracking, which is powered by T-sheets. It has an HR support center, which is really cool. What we heard from a lot of employers is if they had any question related to HR, the most common thing that they would do is just sort of Google, right? That makes tons of sense. The problem with that is that they would end up sort of 3 steps in, either not realizing they'd somehow inadvertently entered into someone's like sort of sales process, right? Because they just want information. Or they end up on some sort of like, Reddit thread much farther down, and they're like, can I really trust this information? And so the reason that this HR support center is amazing is because it has all of the content in terms of like, basic things like, is someone exempt, to more complicated things like when can someone take maternity leave exactly and how does that work? And it's all that content has been vetted by HR experts. So that is what is super exciting about that. It's like the source of truth for HR. And then this product also has expert setup review, which is also really cool. So what that means is after you do your setup, an expert will review the entire thing to make sure that you've done it exactly correctly. So you're starting off on the right foot. And I will say, as someone that has set up payroll incorrectly myself twice, this is huge. My goodness, I certainly was not an expert, and especially compared to anyone listening to this, and it caused such a headache, just all the ramifications downstream because I didn't correctly set up. And then the last product is our Elite product. That is a brand new product. It is our highest tier product. It has, like I said, the more robust Elite time tracking functionality. In this case, the onboarding would be done completely for you. So the elite onboarding, you can think of white glove onboarding. Someone will actually set up payroll entirely for you. It has the guarantee that I talked about, and then it has the personal HR advisor. So you do get access to the HR support center with the elite product, and you also have the ability to just call someone. You can just literally pick up the phone, and there are certified HR pros that have many, many, many years of experience that are able to answer questions for you on demand.
Just real quick questions that came up, Stephanie, that you can speak to with these offerings. Are the vendor, like contractor payments, are they included in any of these offerings?
I'm sorry, you cut out. Could you repeat what you just said?
Contractor payments, so making payments to contractors, like vendor direct deposit, like in the desktop option. Is that the ability in any of these payroll offerings?
You can pay contractors with these offerings, correct?
Okay. Would they
yes.
be?
Is that it? Did I answer your question?
Yes. Would they be set up as an employee, so like $4 a month, or for core, or for premium?
Yes, with respect to pricing, the pricing for contractors and employees would be the same. So it would be per worker.
Okay.
Yes.
And this is just US only, or is it also in Canada?
This is US only. Yes.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Sorry to interrupt. Just thought those quick questions would be able to answer while we're talking about the different offerings.
Great. Okay, so let's move to the next slide.
Okay.
All right. So now that we've talked about the new lineup, when can we have it? when exactly is this going to be in everyone's hands, which we're really excited about. And so the purpose of this slide is really to show you that we wanted to do this carefully and thoughtfully and really leverage learnings from one phase to another. So back in October, we released this to a small percentage of our small business base. We got a lot of learnings from that. And then in early last month, or rather mid last month, we released it to everyone because we saw very positive feedback and results from the October release. New accountants and new QBOA firms got this right around Thanksgiving. And then for anyone, an existing accountant and QSP, it should happen, my understanding is this week. So that's really exciting, very timely.
Right.
And then going forward, you will see that current clients will continue to transition from roughly February all the way through until June.
Okay.
All right. So
what's that going to look like?
That's right. So the way to think about this is it's not really so much a moving, which sounds, I think, a little more disruptive than we intend, of you and your clients to the new lineup. Think of this more as we're just releasing new features into your existing account to make the transition as smooth as possible. So after the transition, after you log in for the first time, you and your clients will not have, this was key to the actual seamless transition plan. We had to control for these things before doing anything else, which was there was no disruption to business processes. There should be no barrier to running payroll or paying and filing taxes, and no data to transfer. That was very, very important to the entire plan. So keep that in mind. Those were the tenets that we sort of drilled in when we put this together. So if you go to the next slide. So you can see that your account will transition if you plan to use the new payroll for your own firm through QBOA, to the new lineup on or after February 1st of next year. So we'll have lots of information coming out before that timing in January so that you know exactly what's happening, but that is the date to remember. It will happen after February 1st. QBOA users have the Elite, which is the highest tier SKU, if you remember from a few slides ago, for free. And that is for use for their firms for free. So you can really check it out for yourselves and see all the bells and whistles included with that particular product. And this hopefully will answer some of the questions. I know there's so many going through. So like I said, we'll definitely capture them and get back to you, because I know this was a lot of questions on this topic. If your firm uses T-Sheets, your account will transition on or after May 1st, 2020. And that is simply because the transition is a little more complicated there, and we want to make sure we have everything absolutely buttoned up and nail down. So we certainly wouldn't want to transition those people like, day one. So you'll have or this will happen May 1st or after if you currently use T-Sheets.
Yeah, and that's something that I've seen in the past of the rollout is you new customers first, and then not so complicated situations, and then the big, hairy, audacious transitions last. And those are you take the learnings along the way, and then you can roll them into those ones that have it, like the T-Sheets, full service. Those are definitely the ones that you want to wait till the end, but you have all the learnings to do.
Exactly. That's exactly right, Dan. We just want to make sure we don't anticipate hiccups, but in case there are any, we want to apply those, anything we learn from those
Right.
to anything that might be a slightly more complicated situation.
Right.
So then moving on to the next slide. So for your clients accounts will transition to the new lineup on or after March 1st of next year. So again, lots more information will happen. This is certainly not the only time that we will talk about this. We will be talking about this quite a bit. So you'll get a lot of information ahead of time, so you should know exactly what is happening when. And so the way to think about this is using the sort of visual below. Your client is going to transfer to the more robust version of their existing product, sort of the new and improved version of their existing product, which means if you had a client on self-service, they will be moving to core. If you had a client on full service, they will be moving to premium. And then T-Sheets customers will be moving to premium. And so note that is kind of the one exception. If you have, regardless of sort of if you were on enhanced or full service, if you have T-Sheets, we will transition you to premium. And as you can see, we sort of try to underline it, that will happen after May 1st. So think of T-Sheets as happening a little bit later. Overall transition for your client starts March 1, but again, if you have T-Sheets, it'll happen a little bit later on or after May 1st.
Gotcha.
Okay, so moving on then to the next slide. So deeper dive into pricing. This was also in the slide where I did an overview of each of the products, but just in case anyone has questions here, this is just more detail about the specific pricing and offers. So if you previously were on the enhanced or self-serve product, you will be moving to core, or rather your client will be moving to core, right. You being the client. And you can see we try to call out the very specific from to, right? So we have the wholesale price there. So from the $17.50 plus 4 to the $22.50 plus 4. And then just a note there, if you have more than 10 employees, there is a $250 per month step price that will exist and be honored for 12 months from the date of their transaction to the new lineup. So it will be for a year, just to make that really clear. And then the client bill pricing is on the right-hand side. So from the 35 plus 4 to the 45 plus 4, with the same call out there about the 11th employee on it. And I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm hearing someone crash dishes, and so I apologize if that's somehow me or somehow I've accidentally locked into something. But it's from 35 and 4 to 45 and 4 with the same call out that at the 11th employee, you have the step price of $250 honored for 12 months. Okay, so then moving on to the next slide. So now full service clients will transition to premium. And this is where we're also super excited because remember that includes the T-Sheets, the time tracking, advanced time tracking powered by T-Sheets. So wholesale again on the left, you can think of that as going from 40 and 4 to 37.50 and 8 with the step pricing that we've called out below for employee 11 plus. So either 250, it went from 250 to 4.
So this is actually a price decrease.
On the base, correct. That's entirely correct. And then client
bill,
bill, again on the right.
When you add in the T-Sheets, it actually is less per employee too.
That's right. That's right, which is why we are we're super excited about the value that we're bringing to market. So then this is relatively self-explanatory. I'll move on and because I know there's Q&A coming up too. Oh, that was my last slide. That's right.
So that was the last
yeah. Happy to
Well,
take.
let's launch another. Let me launch another poll, and that
Okay,
may then we can actually look at some of the other questions. So
great.
here we go. So for your QBO clients, what payroll provider do you actually prefer? The integrated QB payroll, maybe something outside of QB like Intuit Online Payroll for clients, or some of the other providers that are out there. Go ahead and answer that. So yeah, a lot of the questions that I was seeing was about how this is going to roll out. One question that came up that maybe you can answer, Stephanie, is that if they preferred a self-service option, it looks like those options are kind of all going away. And maybe we could speak to a little bit about what auto payroll actually entails. So like if you have customers on, or all of your employees are on salary, that is where you can set up automatic payroll. If you still have hourly employees, then you still have to acknowledge that, correct?
Correct. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And I think, let me just play back your question quickly, Dan, because I want to make sure you cut out in the very beginning that I'm answering it. You're talking about the auto payroll functionality, and in the initial phase, it will cover your salaried employees only. In the future, it will cover your hourly employees. That is the plan.
Okay. So we'll actually have the option of including the hourly employees as well. That's cool.
Correct. And it would be, and I just want to quickly introduce, because I'd mentioned this to Michelle as well, that I've recruited some experts, because this community always has very detailed and very good questions. And so I'm representing work that has been done by an entire village. And so to ensure that I'm answering questions as accurately as possible, I recruited a product expert who is in the room with me,
All right.
and also a care expert that can be on Slack. And so she is mentioning the hourly piece would be powered by T-Sheets.
Yep. Hi, everybody. I'm Sandy Edwards, a product leader. And for the T-Sheets, so for auto payroll, the first initial version that we've launched is for companies with only salary employees, all with direct deposit, right? This is obviously the simplest case for us to automate for everybody. We're currently working on automating it when you don't have direct deposit also, and creating the print check flow for you. And then in the near future, we'll be working on utilizing the T-Sheets embedded time tracking through T-Sheets to automate even hourly employees, so that we can truly create a completely hands-off automated payroll.
That's awesome. Now, a little bit about the tax-free or the tax penalty guarantee. That is only in the elite, where it doesn't matter who makes the mistake, correct?
That's correct. That is offered in our elite product only.
Right, but I do want to make sure we stress that all three of our payroll products always carry the Intuit tax accuracy guarantee, right? We guarantee that we'll file and pay your taxes, calculate your taxes accurately all the time. Otherwise, we'll take care of it for you. That's the guarantee we have through all of our products. The elite carries another a guarantee, which goes beyond that and does something that's never been done in the industry before, which we are going to cover the penalty even if it's our mistake or if it's the customer's mistake. And so we go above and beyond to make sure your payroll is accurate and that even the data you're entering is accurate. And it will pay penalties of state and federal up to $25,000 in any calendar year. And you can learn more at the website about all the what we're doing to fulfill that and what is excluded and included and all the more details on the website.
That's great. Now the penalties. I mean, I always say to potential clients, it only takes one penalty for it to pay for itself.
Absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that one of the amazing things that comes with it, we're not just going to cover the penalty. We also do all the legwork for you. It's a little bit like getting some insurance, so that we'll also contact the IRS on your behalf or the agency on your behalf. We'll figure out what went wrong. We'll help sort it out for you, and then we'll take care of it. So it truly is hands off at that point when you get the notice. You just send it to us and we take care of it for you.
That's awesome. And it looks like, as far as the poll is concerned, most people are using the integrated QB Payroll. There are a significant amount using the Intuit Online Payroll for accountants, and then people using other ones. But hopefully, with some of the things that you shared here today, it might be a case to switch, which I think is that's the goal, right? There was another question here that I wanted to bring up here. So if they prefer a self-service payroll, once it transitions completely either to core, premium, or elite, that would they still have the option to do self-service payroll? But as far as
which is exactly, I know what you're talking about, which is why I recruited Sandy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll start by saying that in our research early on, it was overwhelmingly in favor of automated taxes and forms. There was very little interest in the marketplace for a do-it-yourself tax product, and that's why we went the direction we did. But what we're hearing now is there are still a not insignificant amount of people that would like to continue to maintain control of their taxes and clicking the button and when they pay and stuff. And so there's two parts to that question. You can always not enroll in our auto tax feature. We can't force anybody to give us their bank account information and start paying taxes. So that's always an option, right? You can always opt out of the electronic services and we won't pay your taxes for you. And then you can just record them that you've paid them outside the system in the product. What we're exploring next is how to, for some of our existing customers that are on our QBOP product, if it's important to them to continue to maintain their process of clicking the button and paying their taxes, we're currently exploring if and when we can deliver this ability for our existing customers. Because we are hearing a consistent thread of feedback especially from our accountants, that their existing clients may have different reasons why they want to control cash flow a little bit tighter and they want to pay a little bit later or earlier or partial payments. So we're currently incorporating that feedback into our plan for next year and make sure that we can help those customers also.
Okay, and then what about like local taxes or those types of things that are kind of like depending on the state that they're in, if you do local, how does that work with these new payroll offerings?
Yep. So we have included local taxes in the automatic payroll in Premium and Elite. So if you're if you have an employer that is in one of the states that has the much more complicated local tax situations that require a little bit more manual work on our end to file, a little bit more detail setting up, that is one of the features that is added to the Premium service, along with new hire reporting, so that you can also have that taken care of for us by us.
That's fantastic, because from the other side of the coin, where I was taking a lot of calls from accountants in those states, Pennsylvania was a bear, to say it.
Pennsylvania are really complicated.
Yeah, and that was fantastic. So that's great to hear.
We're excited to be talking that.
Yeah. There's another question about that came up here. With the ability to do manual time tracking, like inside of QuickBooks, where you have the weekly and the single time activity, those are still available. Like even if you're using T-sheets, you would still be able to enter in time sheets inside of QuickBooks, or
nothing in the lineup that we're doing for payroll is impacting any of the existing QuickBooks functionality. So if you currently can do that, you can continue to do that.
Okay, that's a good question. What's the roadmap look like for any of the other payroll offerings, like Intuit Online Payroll for accountants or the desktop payroll services? Is that something you can speak to, or not yet?
I don't have a ton of visibility into the desktop payroll, so I'll punt on that one. But we do all of the online payroll products are under our group, and so I can speak a little bit to the future, our future desire to make sure that once we get these 3 new payroll products out in the market, which we're currently in the process of doing, once we get all of our existing customers from QuickBooks online payroll products over to these new features, over to these new offerings, then we'll turn to the IOP lineup and start looking at moving them over to these.
What's what's the what does it look like, for someone who gets migrated into the new offering? Do they? I know you kind of touched on that, Stephanie, about it'll just be new features, but will they get any kind of communication? We've upgraded your account, or we've transitioned you as far as an email is concerned, or will they just log in one day and see these new features and offerings?
No, per the slides that I'd covered with the dates, there will be definitely communication via email. I'm sure also via IPD or in product notification leading up to those months. So it is meant to be a smooth transition, specifically in terms of no disruption to business processes or the ability to run payroll or pay or file taxes, any of those things. But it is certainly not meant to be a surprise. So yes, you can definitely expect communication leading up to the dates that I covered.
Yeah, but I would think of it like, again, like Stephanie covered, it's going to be a name change and additional features. So you'll get an email telling you about the time frame that we'll be looking at evolving or your account or transitioning your account. And then when you log in on the first day, you'll get a new welcome experience. It'll say, like, okay, we've completed a transition. You're now on QuickBooks Premium, QuickBooks Payroll Premium, and here's the new features available to you.
Gotcha. And who gets those emails? Would that be the master administrator of the QuickBooks Online subscription, or the payroll person, or the accountant, or both?
Yeah, that's a really excellent question. We're actually talking about that right now, trying to figure out how to make sure we get these emails to the correct person. We would love feedback on that. Like, is there a way for us to detect to make sure we get it to the right person who it impacts the most? Should we go to all of them? Is it just most important to go to the master admin? We usually just go to master admins, but in this case, we're trying to look a little bit more deeply at how we can make sure that we're getting the right experience for the right users on the on the account.
Yeah, especially with a lot of people using the wholesale billing and then continuing to be the master admin when they may or may not actually need to be. It might be a surprise to the people using the payrolls. Like, well, wait a minute, how did I know about that?
We may communicate to the wrong person, and it might be a surprise to a different person. So we would love feedback on that, and because we're currently gathering like what is the right way to reach out to the right users at the right time.
And then for those that are using this to pay contractors, the 1099s included in the tax filings, or is it only payroll tax forms that you're?
So currently this year, and I'm talking about 2019, if for the small segment of customers that are purchasing it this year, 1099s are not included for the calendar year of 2019. The goal is by 2020 to have that feature included, so that by the filing year 2020, your 1099s will automatically be included. The cost of filing your 1099s will automatically be included with your service.
Gotcha. And now during this transition, I can foresee, especially if I have a lot of clients on my client list, it would be confusing, to say the least, if I go into one client and they have enhanced, and then I go into another client and they have core, and another client and they have premium, and another client they have full service. How would I know what service a client has by just looking at the client itself? Because it's does it look any different, I guess, that's my question, is what it's going to look like, or would it just be those features that one client has over another?
Yeah, so I think one of the key things that Stephanie covered that I want to make sure we reiterate is, at the core, these products are not different. Running payroll's the same, so there's not any fundamental differences. It'll be feature differences, to your point, right? And so during the transition, and we know that this is going to be an interesting transition time, we're working really hard to make sure we're making it as smooth as possible. But you can imagine it's complicated moving and changing this many customers and communicating to customers and making sure that we get everything right, especially when we're talking about moving customers from a do-it-yourself tax product to a full-service tax product. So we're working around the clock now to make it as smooth as possible. But again, we'd love more feedback. I hadn't really considered how we could make it visible on the client list. I think that's a great thing to look at so that we can help make that transition a little bit smoother for our accountants. It will be, when we think about moving the clients of customers or our clients of accountants, they'll have clients moving at different times. Some might be going in March, and some might be going in May, because of the type of clients that they have and the different features and functionality that they have or don't have, right? We're going to do them in different groups. And so I love the idea of figuring out how to make it more visible on the client list. So we'll take that feedback back and take a look at that.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been on the receiving end of a multitude of migrations that that Intuit has done. And I can say that this looks like a great way to transition these clients, and I'm kind of excited about how this is going to roll out. And I think you have taken a lot of the hiccups that you learned from other migrations and rolled them into how this is going to be rolling out for your customers. So
right, I think one of the key things about this one is it's the data. There's no data migration, and so it's again just a name change of the existing product you have, and we're adding some new features and functionality. No one's moving your data, nothing's changing otherwise. It's really just adding some great new features and giving our products new names.
And what kind of, yeah, that's a great call out. What kind of learning or like tutorials would there be available, and where would they be available for training purposes of the new features? Are they going to be in product, or is there going to be like in the firm of the future? Where would people go to learn more about what these new features actually entail?
Yep. So right now we're starting with our obviously our basic knowledge base articles, so that our community is up to date and the help topics are all up to date, so that we'll have that all done. There'll be the team is currently working on creating those groups of articles around what it means, like what feature differences are in core, premium, and elite, and then more details about those features in a written form. There are also, I think, firm of the future is another thing that we need to look at to make sure we're leveraging firm of the future to do some deep dives into the features themselves a little bit more. And then I think we've also kicked around the idea of doing some video tutorials. I don't know that we've gotten to that yet though, but I know that it's been discussed.
I think also just, ideas from this really engaged community in terms of like, where would you like to see the training and the content? What actually, where do you guys go the most, and what would be the most helpful? Love that partnership and that input as well.
That's great. Now let me go ahead and launch our third poll here. This is what feature that you saw today, what appeals to you the most? Is it the auto payroll? Is it the tax penalty guarantee? The T-sheets included, or the onboarding specialist, or the fact that you get Elite for free? That's always a bonus. Yeah, there's a comment. Video tutorials would be great. That for learning purposes, of a quick video tutorial would be great.
And like within the product, I'm taking notes. Take a note, Dan. Within the product, video tutorial would like within.
Yeah, I would I think where you use it would be great. I know a lot of places inside of QuickBooks Online are where there's a video link that would take them out to that video tutorial. But the discovery of what's new here, I like now that QBO has those new badges, for the new features. So like that it's a new feature. Then there's typically a landing page of what is this all about. That would be a great place to put those in. For somebody who discovers them, like, oh, this is new. What is it? Okay. Now I get a landing page or a video tutorial right in the product, so I don't have to go searching for it.
Yep. Love that.
All right, let me close the poll here and share the results here. It looks like it's a split. T-sheets being included and the onboarding specialist. So, and then really close behind is the auto payroll. So good feedback there. Having someone there. I mean, the thing that you said, Stephanie, about the way that people find out their answers is Google first, and then now they're they're knee deep in somebody else's sales process.
Right.
To go somewhere that is not going to be another sales presentation, and actually has their answer at heart would be a great way.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, let me hide the results here. I'm going to just look at some of the other, let's see. Just looking at some of the other questions here. We do have some other folks answering the questions, so I appreciate them being able to manage all of that. Let's see. Somebody's just a feedback there. Email to master admin, accountant, and the payroll user would be a good to know.
Okay, that's helpful.
Let's see. Yeah, and for the folks that maybe missed a little bit, we are going to repost this on Michelle's YouTube channel, as well as put it up on podcast as well. So there would be definitely options to revisit the recording so that you can play it over and over again, because this will be a lot of information to take in at once, and you can certainly review it as needed. I really want to thank you guys for coming on and answering these questions. And there was just definitely a lot of concern, and not necessarily concern, but a lot of interest about how this is going to roll out and how this is going to play out. And I really appreciate you coming on and giving your inside impression of how this is going to roll out. Any final thoughts from your end?
I just want to thank everyone for their engagement, and like I said, at the very, very beginning, I think we talked to a little over 1,000 accountants and accounting professionals, because this partnership is so important to us, and we really wanted to hear and take that feedback to heart. And yes, I'm not sure, Dan, do you send us the questions, and then if there's anything else outstanding, I'm happy to try to make sure I've got the right person to answer that.
Yeah, I'll print out the questions that were sent, and then we'll just you can either group them and put them out to whomever needs to get them, and then we'll follow up on the Facebook group.
Got it. Okay, great.
And Stephanie, you shared the timing, right? That new accountants are selling this right now, and that existing, or any day now, any minute now, the existing QBOA will be seeing these new lineups.
Pretty
really exciting.
We think it's this week. Keep your eyes peeled.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us today. And again, we'll post this on our YouTube channel as well as on the podcast. And appreciate you all for joining us today. And I hope you guys have a great day and happy holidays.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed listening to the QB Power Hour podcast. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in our Facebook group. You can find those resources and much more at qbpowerhour.com.